got my BT Bam Automata II vinyl today, but we're not talking about BT Bam. We're not talking about Between the Buried and Me, my favorite band. I mean, we could though. No. I must resist. I've got Sideways number 6, and I gotta tell you, something happens in this that I guessed, but I'm not gonna come out and explicitly say it. But let me ask you: Are you aware of foreshadowing? Are you aware of context clues? Have you ever heard the word portend or portending? My buddy HP taught me that one. And if you didn't at least have a little bit of an inkling, a suspicion about the aforementioned tragedy, I feel like you may need to go to the doctor, because I think you're about to have an aneurysm, because I saw this shit coming a mile away. And if you still can't get it, because I'm not gonna come out and say it, but if by the time issue 7 comes out, I'll be able to talk about it. And if you didn't get it or have an inkling about it, I think your brain is about to just fucking die, son. So, okay, let's look at this cover. Awful. This cover is awful. Look, it's like it's muted colors. It's like, in the history of Marvel Comics, whatever, for the longest time they had this rule, even when the technology was updated, to only use primary colors on a cover, because it's striking. You can see it from a distance. You can't go wrong with primary colors. But they went a different way with this cover. Drab. We got gray, we got taupe, we got a white lady. I feel like a little bit of extra effort could have been made. And look at his mom. She is fucking shocked that he is just whipping that mask off. She understands that superheroes, they're taking their mask off every 15 seconds, and it's a bad move. And also, let's not forget that Louis C.K. is his father. This is what Louis C.K. is up to right now. When you get caught up in a little bit of a scandal, you end up in a DC comic. This is where he is. This is where he's hiding. I found you, Louis. Okay, let's get into this. So we start off Derek and his adopted mother, that is heavily hinted at for the entire series. I'm just saying, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say what happens, but you're smart, right? I mean, you say it. You say you're smart to people. You think you're smart. I don't know if you actually are. They're having a little bit of a fight. He just wants to get out of here. And apparently she's a little upset. He's disappearing all the time. I mean, he's got superpowers. He can't be just in the house when he got superpowers, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna go out. I'm just gonna go out. And she asks Louis, aka David. See, Louis C.K. is also an actor, technically, even though he plays Louis C.K. A little bit of acting in that role. So he's going by David in the comic, and she's like, David, say something, maybe you can reason with him. Nah, not me, this is between you two, I'm sitting this out. That's right, Dad, you sit them all out. Louis C.K. is playing a bad father. Is he a bad father in real life? I don't know. Seems like a good dad, but just some questionable stuff he did on the side. It was business related, wasn't doing that to his daughter, so you know what? Derek, he's feeling trapped. He's out of here. And she's just chasing him down. She's trying to reason with him. But you know what? Sideways turned my life upside down. And then I just go into Fresh Prince. But I haven't actually watched Fresh Prince in the longest. So I don't know. If it was playing, I could sing with it. But I don't think I could do that shit from scratch. So we see this. And I have a question. I feel like, I know Ernie lives in like a Forest Hills, New York suburb type of place. I remember that. But I felt like Derek also lived in like the suburbs or something. Not I don't want to call this it's definitely not a brownstone, but like some just apartment building in the middle of the place, but whatever. And he's like, normally I don't like to use my power so close to home, but with all the problems they've brought, I figured it couldn't hurt to use them and get away as fast as possible. Oh man, I didn't even think about that. He can get out of any situation. He would make an incredible burglar. I'm just saying, keep your options open, kid, because the likelihood of you going to college, you don't need it. You don't need it. You got powers. Let's go. So, we see Yeah, I'll show this, I guess. Louis C.K. is saying, when we brought him into our home, I warned you there'd be days like this. Not now, David. Not now. Not ever. I need to get my keys. Yeah, Louis, why don't you go call a couple female comedians and, you know, jerk off while you're talking to them, and then for some reason they also stay on the phone? So I feel like there's a little bit of them being complicit in your actions, Louis, but you know what? You're not a good dad in this situation right here. So she runs off. She's going to the office. And Derek, he goes to Ernie's house, which is his best friend, who is a girl, so you know, it's going to go down at some point. He goes there. Look at this heartthrob right there. And her sister is there, and he just is... She tells him to sit down, and he's just sitting there for hours and hours and hours. He's avoiding calls from his mother. And eventually she tells him that Ernie's not here. She's working at a street fair with their mom. And he's like, what the fuck? I've been waiting here. So Ernie's sister, a real bitch. So he cuts off to there. The mom heads off to Dark Star. I think it's Industries. I feel like it was called Industries, but you know what? I might be thinking about the skateboard company. Either way, I've expressed my thoughts about a company named Dark Star. Yeah. I said that they chopped the limbs off all those kids. I mean, how are all those white kids losing their fucking arms? And then they get Lego arms? What's going on there? There's no civil wars happening in Finland that I'm aware of, but the goddamn lamestream media. Anyway, so I was thinking, what else does Dark Star do that is terrible for the future? Here's what they do, right? Like, come on, getting close. I don't want them to hear. They offer speech classes throughout the public school system, alright? Sounds like a noble cause. But since they're called Dark Star, they're evil, and their speech classes aren't improving kids' speech. They're giving kids lisps. They're ruining these kids' whole fucking life. By the time you're an adult and you have a lisp, it's over. Adult speech classes, those aren't real. Like, the level of shame prevents adult speech classes from existing. I mean, just like lisp speech classes, of course there's like lose your accents classes, which makes total sense, but yeah, you got a lisp, when you're 35, it's done, you're over. Just avoid S's. So she goes in, and the janitor, he's making a call like, oh yeah, she does not need to be in here right now. She has a run-in with another coworker who's a dick. Some nefarious shit is going down. I gotta avoid all that. And then we see sideways Derek. He sees Ernie and her mom at the street fair. They're selling cupcakes, which is the whitest fucking thing they could be doing. And also, I'd like to point out this. Like, I want to say that that's a woman, right? But that black thing on the face makes me think it's a mustache. Is this a mustachioed woman? It's 2018. There's fucking no rules anymore. So I don't know. But you know what? How about you cut out the smarminess of you buying a cupcake at a street fair? Alright? This guy, I feel like he's a little bit creepy. But I would take this guy over you any day. Fucking weirdo. Also, don't sell cupcakes. Too many fucking cupcakes in the world right now. But we see, and he's like, I shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have gone there. Ernie was enjoying a pleasant mother-daughter moment while I avoided my mom's call a second time. Why don't people text in emergency situations? I mean, in real life, she would be texting him like a fiend. Like a crazy, crazy mother, if you will. But, in movies and everything, it's always like, oh, the missed call. Like, nobody listens to voicemails. I'm sorry. If you want me to never hear what you wanted me to... If you want me to never hear what you intended for me to hear, leave a voicemail. I'll never listen to that shit. So he was like, but seeing them together, not sure why, it made me think of my birth mother. I wondered if we could have had moments like this. Are you seeing the foreshadowing? Are you seeing this shit? Come on, you gotta... If you put it together before the video's over, it's probably still go to the doctor if you haven't put it together, but I feel like the percentage ratio of you, the likelihood of you being, you know, killed due to a brain aneurysm, it's less, but it's still probably go get it checked out if you haven't put it together yet. And he's like, a few days ago, I figured out a cheat code for my powers. Oh yeah, there's also stuff about his powers on this. My bad, I get wrapped up in the Louis C.K. hiding out in a new age of heroes. Who's he calling up? He calling up Wonder Woman? I mean, he has to, right? I think of people, not places before a jump. Find them, find the way, then go rift tracking. So you got all this like familial stuff and, you know, the emotional blah blah blahs, but then you also got him figuring out his powers. That's why I'm into this. It's like, you think his powers are very basic, just like open up portals, but then, you know, it gets a little bit more complicated. I'm into it. And for some reason he thought of Tempest, which is the giant cat thing that tried to kill him, but then took him under his wing. Because, you know what, if you try to kill somebody, this is going to be some real shit right here. If you try to kill somebody and you're unsuccessful, you gotta bring them in. You gotta bring them in. You gotta become their mentor, because they will try to seek vengeance because you tried to kill them. If anyone ever tried to kill me, oh, I will forget about the law like that. You're done, buddy, or I'm gonna die trying to avenge myself. But I'm just saying, if you go after someone and you're unsuccessful, bring them in. It was a test. It was a test. And you passed. So let's be best friends now, okay? So he thought of Tempest, and there's some cool pages, but he skipped some stuff, you know. And he sees Tempest is locked in a battle with a huge thing, and we learn that they're connected in a weird way, I guess. He's like, let me channel my powers through you. And it's like, hey man, you haven't even, like, saw a movie together, and you're gonna be doing this? Okay, it's time you learn the full extent of what you can do. And he uses them as a conduit for his powers. He opens up this huge rift, and he's like, the rush of power. I didn't want it to stop. So, you know, that's probably gotta wait. I mean, anytime anybody gets a lot of power, could be tricky. I mean, if I got any sort of power, I would utterly destroy myself, probably. And he opens up this huge rift, and they expel this creature through it, and they... Look at that. I don't even know what this fucking thing is, but you know what? It's gotta go. It's gotta go, because my boy Derek, he needs that character progression, alright? Sorry, pile of glad garbage bags. Wait. I'm sorry. Hefty garbage bags. You gots to go, because my boy needs to learn that he can open up a rift the size of the Brazilian rainforest. But it takes a lot out of Tempest, and they have a little bonding moment, you know, where they're like, oh yeah. I feel like it's like the dialogue is a little clunky or whatever, but it's like, hey, I could be his friend. And then we get some, I think that might be it, as far as what I'm going to show you, because I feel, come on, man, put it together. Put it together. What is the tragedy? What is the tragedy? What is it? Put it together. Is the tragedy that Louis C.K.'s career is ruined? Potentially? One of the greatest comedians of like the last decade? Because he likes to, you know, make obscene phone calls. Is that the tragedy here? Yes. But there's also something happen. I don't know. Put it together. Come on. Come on, man.